Hey, what's up everyone? James from Junkyard Fox. Thank you so much for joining me on our first video of the year 2022. So I have this personal little tradition that I've been doing these last couple of years. Is the very first Junkyard Fox video of the year. I like to make the top 5 my personal favorite Junkyard Fox video of the previous year. And I'm a sentimental old fool. These videos don't necessarily get a lot of attention, a lot of views, but I love to look back and see how much I've grown, where I've traveled to, what I've learned, that kind of stuff, and then, make plans for the next year. I'm very big on new beginnings, new chapters, but also looking back and just appreciating the growth and, all that stuff. So, yeah, like I said, not a big video, so thank you for joining me. I'm also at this abandoned little farmhouse that I thought was really cool. Like, I figured hanging out here would be cool. But there is a road behind it, and you'll hear cars here and there, so apologies for that. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the year 2021. So I'm not by any means saying that 2021 was a perfect year, because it wasn't. On a personal level, with Junkyard Fox, all this stuff. But I do got to be honest, and I do got to say that I am very, very grateful for that year, and I learned a lot, and I got to experience so much. I grew so much as an outdoorsman, as a storyteller, as a businessman, all these things. I got to meet incredible people that taught me so much. I got to travel so much this year, even more than usual. I got to soak my feet in the beach at night of California. I got to hike in beautiful Washington and hunt in South Texas, all this stuff. So it's been a great year, guys, and I gotta say, I'm very blessed. I gotta say I had a great year, and I'm so excited for the year 2022. But enough of being sappy. You guys want to get down to the countdown, so let's go ahead and do it. Like I said, these are my top 5 favorite Junkyard Fox videos of the year, and I'll explain the reason why, what I learned, where I went, all this stuff, and then I'll have a couple of honorable mentions as well. So let's knock out those honorable mentions now. So honorable mentions, I'm going to talk about 3 of them. The first one's going to be trout fishing in Arizona. So you guys know me, I love catch and cooks. I love living off the land. Those are my favorite types of videos. That's my favorite thing to do outdoors. So those automatically tend to be a little higher on my list. That was the first time Cuervo ever caught trout, so that was a first for him. Love living off the land, and of course we ate really well a couple days later, munching them out. Okay, so honorable mention number 2 is going to be our snake eater knife review. So for those of you who don't know, this is my knife design, the snake eater made by Wood Steel Knives. And when it comes to knife reviews, if I may pat myself in the back a little bit, I feel like our knife reviews go above and beyond, because a lot of times we're processing game, and we're constantly changing the situation and location and all that stuff. But this being my knife design, I felt like it had bigger shoes to fill than the average review. So it's called the snake eater, right? So I wanted it to, test it by processing a snake, earn its name, right? However, snakes don't want to be found. And I figured it was going to be a lot easier, but we had very weird weather this year. A lot of rains during summer, and I think that affected the behavior of snakes. And I hunted for a snake for months and couldn't find them. So we finally ended up finding one. We were about to give up on making this review, but we finally knocked it out, and we ended up cooking up that rattlesnake and all that stuff. So check out that review if you haven't done so yet. I'm very proud of this knife. It's still to this day my favorite. And as of this year, I do believe that Chris Tanner from Prepared Mind 101 and Ben from Living Survival will be testing out a snake eater. Not this one, but a different one that will be given away in our Patreon as well. So stay tuned for that. And honorable mention number 3 is going to be the camping gone wrong video. So for those of you who don't remember, or maybe you didn't see that situation, early summer I was staying an overnighter at a primitive shelter I had in the desert. We'll talk about that shelter later. But I'm filming a video there, overnighter, beautiful night, and when I fall asleep, sometime in that night, I woke into a vehicle approaching, and they drove up right behind my truck and shot the windows, and then they drove off. And yeah, that was a surprise. I did not anticipate my night going like that. But I can joke all about it now, but at the time, I'm not gonna lie, I was very angry. I was very confused. I don't know these people. They drove off, so it's not. I don't know. It's just it's a good reminder that even if you don't go looking for trouble, trouble will find you, especially when it comes to other human beings. So when it's a good reminder as a prepper, to be vigilant. When we talk about survival situations, it isn't, you got lost in the wilderness or wolves or an ice blizzard. It's people. A lot of the times it will be people. And yeah, it was really crappy. And but it's also a moment of the community coming together, and you guys as an audience, as Junkyard Fox viewers, really helped me out. The whole community chipped in, and you guys help restore that truck. And in 2 weeks later, I was back out filming videos and staying out in the wilderness. So there's a great and a bad from it. And here comes a vehicle. Hold on, I'm gonna wait for them to pass. Okay, so let's get to the top 5 videos, and I'm trying to go quickly because there's just so many interruptions with traffic and helicopters. So let's do this quickly. We're gonna go from 5 to 1, from my least favorite to my top favorite Junkyard Fox video of the year. So Junkyard Fox video number 5 is going to be our camp cooking Calabacitas video. You guys know me, I love camp cooking. I love a good campfire meal. It's one of my favorite things to do outdoors. And I also like to do something different, introduce you guys to something different. And, too many people, especially on YouTube, it's the same usual thing, a steak, ramen. So I always look, what can we do different? And I pull a lot from my local geography and culture and stuff like that. And Calabacitas is a squash and cheese stew. It's a Mexican food dish, very prevalent in the American Southwest. So there's so many recipes for it. I just showed you guys mine in that video. And, it's a lot of squash. And like I said, different types of cheeses, and green chili, of course, had to be in there. And it's so delicious. And we're filming on top of these mountains, and they're just so foggy and beautiful. It was such a picturesque day to just film outside. There's light rain. It was just so beautiful. So once again, just teaching you guys something new in terms of, maybe something for you guys to try to emulate at home or when you're out camping, and of course there's many variations. I've grown to really love to cook up ground pork and then mix it in there, and it's even better than what the video holds, because the video I didn't use any meat. But yeah, it's so good. And once again, just something different. Give this recipe, if you haven't tried it, give it a try, and check out that video if you haven't. One of my favorites. So Junkyard Fox video number 4 is going to be our Wild Desert Edibles Buffalo Gourd video. Now, I had been meaning to make this video for years. Sadly, the information on a buffalo gourd is very scarce. It's very outdated. And honestly, it's a very dangerous plant. It's a plant that potentially can injure you, can kill you. So, you're playing with fire here, and it's not easy to film edible videos if you can't fully back them up. And I couldn't. The last couple of years, I had been taking baby steps to practice with them, and but at the same time, I'm not too eager to make a mistake and I end up in the hospital, right? So a lot of baby steps these last 3 years to fully feel comfortable, confident in talking about the plant, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there, a lot of inaccurate information. I feel like I got down to what's edible, what's not, and how you can go about making it, edible. Because yeah, it's a very bitter plant. It's a very bitter fruit, and like I said, it can be very dangerous. So yeah. But one theme that I realized this year was there's a lot of tying up of loose ends, whether I promised you guys or I promised myself. And one of the things was a buffalo gourd video. And the first Q&A video of the year 2021 was filmed about 11 months ago at this point. And I mentioned, one of the questions is the buffalo gourd, and I mentioned that that's something I wanted to film. Ben Durking asks, are there any plants native to the desert that look just like something edible, but actually is really dangerous or deadly if consumed? There actually is, called the buffalo gourd, and it's in the watermelon family. I do mean to make a video on it because it can be deadly, it can be dangerous, but at the same time, it had its uses to the native tribes in the region. I think it was even our most popular video of the year. I think last time I checked, it was at 70-something thousand views, so good stuff. So the top Junkyard Fox video number 3 is going to be our primitive desert shelter. This is another video that I had been wanting to do for years, to make a primitive desert shelter. That's something that has always, caught my eye. I've always found that very interesting, like on TV shows like Dual Survival and stuff like that. And there's not a lot of information on the desert. So I've always wanted to do one. And, I had practiced here and there, but not enough to make a video because I don't own private land. I don't have access to private land. And because of that, you make something out there, some kind of structure, and guess what? You leave, you come back a month later, and guess what? Drunks just destroyed it. But yeah, I'm very glad once again because there's not a lot of information on the desert stuff. So, we don't have trees, we don't have pine and oak and all this stuff, So, a lot of it, I would say 90% of it was just me brainstorming and just being out there and messing around. And we used the yucca stalks, and I knew a place that had a ton of yuccas. So it really worked out, and it really was comfortable. I actually stayed there about 3 times before I had to abandon it because, once again, my truck got shot. But I actually ended up visiting it again around October, and sure enough, it's still great. A little neglected, the straw bedding on the roof, like the thatching, has blown away by the winds, but overall it's still holding on pretty strong, and I'm very proud of it. Now, I normally end these videos with what I have planned for the following year, for this upcoming year. Things I would like to do is make a video on primitive shelters in the desert. I would like to also hunt larger game like sheep or deer. Folks, and now we are down to the top 2 Junkyard Fox videos of 2021. And these were so difficult to choose, one over the other because I love them both so much. It just, different aspects of my personality, of my goals, so it was a tough fight. But, all right, let's get to it. I'm going to put my hat on. It's getting cold. A video that should have taken me 20 minutes has taken me about 2 hours because there's so much interruptions with like tractors driving by and stuff like that. But anyway, top 2 Junkyard Fox videos of the year. Let's go with the runner-up, which is going to be our wild boar hunt in South Texas this summer. Easily my favorite summer adventure of the year. This was that's no easy feat because this summer was so jam-packed with adventures for me. I got to go to San Diego and explore the beaches at night. It was so beautiful. I got to go to Seattle and Washington and, the waterfalls over there, and go to Arizona. I went to Disneyland. I never thought I would be the kind of person that wanted to go to Disneyland, but I ended up going, and I had a great time. Universal Studios. So very fun summer, but this one wins them all. And going back to the theme that, something that I either promised you guys or I promised myself, one thing I've always wanted to do was, large game hunting something larger than a rabbit or, stuff like that. And that can be a little intimidating, because you got to know, permits, you got to know where to go, where to travel, the ranches and all this stuff, the land. Luckily, big shout out to my buddy Adrian, who, we met on Facebook. We have a group like El Paso Survivalists, and, we met through there, and then we went on June, and man, I took down this pretty big boar. I'm very proud of it. And then we broke him down using my snake eater. We butchered him. And that was such a learning experience, and he guided us through it, how to break it down, and it was such a great adventure. Not even just the boar part, but just being in that beautiful place in South Texas. It was just so beautiful, that ranch, and it was so relaxing. We got to eat some delicious food in a cabin. We got to fish the river. We caught bluegill. First time I ever caught bluegill just using a hobo reel. It was just such a great time, honestly. And like I said, it's my favorite memory of the summer 2021. So incredible adventure. I learned a lot. I still have a lot of that meat, so be prepared to see it like in camping videos, overnighters and stuff like that. I'm very grateful for that. A video that got demonetized right off the bat. YouTube right away was like, no, this isn't going to get any money. So it's probably not even like in the suggested videos. So I'm going to have the link up here. In fact, keep an eye out up here. Normally that's where I like suggest the videos, but check it out up here if you want to watch it. Once again, incredible video, incredible adventure, and if I may say so myself, I edited a great little video where it's not too long, but it's enough to just join us in spirit in that adventure. So Junkyard Fox video number 2 is our hog hunt in South Texas. And now for the number 1 Junkyard Fox video of the year has to go to our Cuervo Negro Dark Trees music video. I cannot be more proud of how that turned out. So for those of you who don't know, Cuervo Negro is the other half of this channel. He's normally recording, he's normally the cameraman. You see him camping, sometimes in like camping videos with me. You'll see him here and there. He's also, of course, the music composer of this channel. So all the music that you hear on this channel, he created it from scratch. You know, we've been buddies going on 20 years at this point, and we've always been creative, and we've always collaborated on stuff. And you know, there's two pillars of who I am as a person, two strong pillars. One side of me is the outdoorsman. He's the one who loves, you know, hunting game and fishing and living off the land, and he wears the cowboy hat, and he's from Texas, you know, that kind of side of me. And I'm very proud of that side. But the other side is that, you know, creativity, and I'm a storyteller, and I love novels and music and film, and, you know, that's a big part of me. And of course, Cuervo Negro, you know, obviously he's a composer, so it's part of him too, and that's, I guess, why we've clicked so much these last couple decades, is like we're so similarly minded in those things. And you know, for years, you know, for a lot of his music, I've written like a script, like a story, like a short film or like a music video, you know, for one of his songs, and we couldn't get him off the ground. You know, we didn't have the budget, we didn't have the resources, we didn't have the time. So we shelved so many of them. But, you know, he has a song called Dark Trees that he made back in 2017, and I wouldn't let it go. I was like, this song is just begging to be made into something. Like, it's just such a cinematic and atmospheric song to begin with, that it's just asking to be padded out with some story to surround it. And I wrote a script 2 years ago, and setback after setback, you know, approaching an actress, and you know, they're not interested, or you know, of course some were, but of course the pandemic happened, and long story short, it took forever to make this. But I swore, just once again coming back to the theme, that I said that I was going to work on something, because I mentioned this 2 years ago, back in 2019, that, you know, we're gonna make this video, we're gonna make it happen. And, you know, mixing Cuervo Negro's incredible music with, you know, I'm going to direct it, and lighting and all that stuff. And of course, we brought in friends of ours who are storytellers in their own right, Ben, Audrey, Lando, and we worked together on a budget of like $200. Like, it honestly went to like booze and gasoline, honestly. And we made it work. And I'm extremely proud of that. And, you know, you can argue that that shouldn't be in the Junkyard Fox videos. That should be in the Cuervo Negro one. So, you know, I can't disagree with you there. But anyways, I'm just so incredibly proud. And if you haven't seen it, the link is up here. Check it out. It's just about 5 minutes long. And it was a Halloween video, by the way. So we did go with something a little bit more suspenseful and you know, creepy. We lost like 46 subscribers from it. Some people that were like, no, I'm not about the rituals, I'm unsubscribing, and this got gay and whatever. You know, it's Halloween, have fun, man. It's like they swear they've never seen like a Michael Myers movie. But anyway, very proud of that. I'm going to stop gushing now, but really cool. And that's about it for our top 5, guys. Those are my personal favorites and the honorable mentions, of course. Now, for the year 2022, going to give you a brief rundown before I run out of sunlight here. Things that I have planned this year. Well, for sure, because our world just keeps dwindling lower and lower around the toilet bowl, I think it's important to keep prepping. Now, I'm not, you know, the leading authority in prepping and all that stuff, but, you know, I'm doing what I can, and I do want to keep you guys, you know, updated in things that may be useful to you, because, you know, with inflation, with the pandemic, with the unrest from here or there, you know, just be careful, guys. And, you know, we tend to focus on those things and we forget about things like tornadoes and forest fires and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm not a Debbie Downer. I've never been the kind of guy who wants to fearmonger, but it's not fearmongering when you're being just realistic, and you need to take care of your family. So there's going to be a lot more prepping involved. I also want to keep doing big game hunts. So I'm hoping to go on an elk hunt this year as well. Also, one of my dreams that I've always wanted to do since before I was even doing Bushcraft is catching wild crabs. Like I want to fish for crabs and then cook them on a beach, or you know, something like that. I've wanted to do it for years, and I think this year I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna gun it and try to do my best to get that done. So there's that. And you obviously saw how excited I was about the Cuervo Negro stuff. It gives me a chance to get away from like in front of the camera and get behind the camera and storyboard and direct people, and I love those things. So we're already starting to work on Sincere. The song is called Sincere by Cuervo Negro. Check it out on Spotify. And I think we're going to work on that one. So thank you all so much, folks. Thank you all so much for all your endless support, your love, your encouragement, guys. And especially big shout out to patrons who make things like the boar hunt happen. Because once again, you know, we spend over $1,000 to travel 8 hours away to camp somewhere and I'm sorry, to stay at a cabin and hunt. And that costs money. And then, of course, filming like a Cuervo Negro music video. So patrons, you guys are the MVPs. And yeah, also a lot more gear reviews. There's a lot more knives as well happening. There's a lot more knife reviews happening as well. Really cool stuff from Woody Smith knives, Papa Bear knives, Reiki knives. Good stuff, guys. So that's about it for me, folks. I am running out of time here, and I'm making this video ridiculously long. So as always, thank you all so much. Welcome to 2022. May we have a very bountiful and blessed year. And we'll see you guys next week with another video. Now go outside and get your boots dirty.